What's up, y'all? So, I've been filming a little less because I'm not really sure what topics to talk about lately. And usually I talk about things that can maybe help y'all who watch and, I don't know, give a bit of advice based on my experience as well as what I've learned over many years of coaching, doing a master's in sports science. But today I'm going to do a slight update on my journey. So I said I'd be doing Hyrox in August, and that's still happening. So, well, let's see, because Hyrox is nuts now. Everything gets booked out so quickly. The one in August is in Shenzhen, so that's literally a stone's throw away from Hong Kong. I think it's a 13-minute high-speed rail journey. Obviously, if you actually factor in everything, it takes about an hour to get there, which is still really quick. The only problem is it's going to be really difficult to book tickets because I think once they get released, they're probably going to be sold out within an hour. Because from what I've heard, Bangkok got sold out in an hour and a half. And for Shenzhen, a lot of people from Hong Kong are going to travel to Shenzhen to do it. So let's see if we can even get tickets. But if we manage to get it, then I'll be doing mixed duos with my partner. Well, when I say partner, I don't mean my girlfriend because she's really busy. We'll probably do that next year, but with an ex-client of mine who used to train with me. So she's 49, something like that. But she can run, she can lift, strong, fast. She did her first ever Hyrox a couple months ago and got a 120 something. So that's really impressive for someone that age who did Hyrox for the first time. So hopefully we can do well, but we don't have super high expectations because at the end of the day, it is the first time doing something and you can't expect to be good at something the first time you do it. But to update y'all, I started running in December, early December last year. It's now June, so it's been close to 7 months. No, more than 7 months, sorry. Almost 8 months. And yeah, let's take a look at numbers. So actually I didn't plan to pull up numbers, and I'm not even gonna show on the screen because I can't be bothered to do the whole thing, but maybe I'll show y'all like my first run and then compared to my runs now, and just for other people to get an idea of where you can possibly be if you just put in the work, put in the consistency, discipline. You can actually improve significantly. And in my opinion, it's much faster than building muscle. But both are very doable if you put a lot of discipline and consistency into it, especially in the first year. You will see massive gains. And that's the beauty of noob gains. So it's really nice to get into a new sport. I never ran to run faster. I've always run to play whatever sport it was. So basketball, football, whatnot. And I hated cross country. I hated any sort of long distance running back in school because I felt like there wasn't really any purpose. If you throw a ball in front of me, then I'll chase it, you know, but if you're just telling me to run for no purpose other than to run, yeah, it's a struggle for me. But I think about a month in, because background for those of y'all who didn't follow is I used to do martial arts. So I did that for 6 years. And after starting running in December, well, the reason why I started running is because I kept getting headaches from doing martial arts, all the sparring. So I decided to stop after December 2024, and then I'd reevaluate a couple months later to see if I still want to fight, etc. And I didn't. As much as I love martial arts, and I still love it, I avoid it as much as possible because I'm on a health maxing journey, and just the brain damage is not worth it. I haven't actually touched martial arts for a year and a bit until I actually moved my Muay Thai coaching sessions back to the gym I used to train at. And obviously, after the sessions, I stayed a little bit, hung around with my friends, ended up doing a little bit of light sparring. And yeah, I love it. I really do. It's a beautiful, beautiful sport. Obviously, it can be very dangerous, but yeah, a lot of people think you just brawl, there's no skill. No, I've done so many sports in my life, and it's probably one of the most difficult and toughest sports out there. I mean, ESPN ranked boxing as the hardest sport to do, and it's not really a surprise. I mean, the fact that you need to get punched in the face is already a big one, but the cardio aspect, the skill, everything you need to learn. And mixed martial arts, I would argue, is even harder than boxing. I mean, they're both difficult in their own ways because with boxing, you're only allowed 2 hands. So you have to do everything to make sure that your 2 hands can land against their 2 hands. And that requires a lot more footwork. Whereas with mixed martial arts, there's a lot more things you need to learn because you need to learn how to grapple, you need to learn how to not get submitted, you need to learn how to submit, you need to learn how to defend yourself on the ground, and you also have to learn how to strike, but it's not just boxing, not just punches, you gotta learn how to defend kicks, elbows, clinches, knees, so there's a lot to learn. But there are more paths to victory in MMA than there are in boxing. So mixed martial arts is definitely there's more variables, which allows for more surprises. Both very difficult sports, and I've played many sports in my life, and I can dead honest say, yes, this is the hardest sport. I think ESPN's top 5 are boxing, so I guess you can lump it into combat sports. And then you got, I think it was American football up there, or ice hockey. I think ice hockey's second, which I'm not surprised by. You got to learn how to skate, and skate really well. Then you've got to learn how to use a stick, and you get hit. Yeah, nah. Ice hockey sounds awful. I think rugby might be up there as well. Football, like association football, I don't know if it is. Top 5. Tennis, I know, is up there in top 5. I'm not surprised as well. Very tough sport. So, yeah. But having played all those, well, except ice hockey and American football, yeah, I would say fighting is difficult. You've also got to cut weight too. But anyway, I totally digressed. This vlog is just for me to share my thoughts for everything, really. But yeah, I've got timestamps anyway, so y'all can just cut straight to the chase if you want to know more about my running transformation, or if you can call it transformation. So if we look at my Strava, sorry, that's gonna take a little bit of time because I don't actually use Strava. I use, what's it called? Runner. And I believe if I go to progress, run, see more of my progress. Oh, no, I don't actually, funnily enough, I really don't know how to use Strava. So let's go back to Runner. Let's take a look. Wow, I actually have no idea how to check. Oh, okay, here we go. So, but technically Runner's not that accurate. You know what? I'm gonna pause the video and find it first. So it took me a while, but I'm back and I found it. So my first Monday afternoon run was actually 24th of November. Does it count? I don't know, because I literally did my next run a week later. But anyway, let's take a look at this. So 24th of November, 2025, 5:23. And we got a 4K run at a 6:25 pace with an average cadence of 162 SPM. And I don't have heart rate tracker on this, do I? Yeah, no, I don't know why. Maybe I didn't wear a watch or something, so it must, oh yeah, I didn't use my watch. I think I used the phone strap. So let's try and find one that's, yeah, no, because the next run I did after that was 13th of December. So that's probably the first day I started running. So yeah, exactly 7 months, 7 months and 1 week. And it is a 5-kilometer progressive run. Yes, that's the first runner program that I used. And nope, I still don't have heart rate, but it was a 5-kilometer progressive long run with an average pace of 5:17. So it was a 2-kilometer conversational pace followed by 1.5 at 5:45 and then 1.5 at 5:25. But let's try and find one with a heart rate because I'd love to be able to see that. Okay, I found one, 29. Let's see. Okay, there's one. No, let's not use repeats because, yeah, that gets really confusing. Let's see. Long run, progressive, repeat run. Yeah, okay, great. So if we take a look at this, this is where I started, okay? A 6-kilometer progressive repeat long run, 1 kilometer at a conversational pace, followed by 1 kilometer at 5:25 1 kilometer at 5:55, and then 1 kilometer at 5:45 per kilometer pace. And that was a total of 6 kilometers with an average pace of 5:36. This was during winter, mind y'all, okay? So you gotta remember, this was during winter, and my average heart rate was 164 BPM, which should mean that it was mostly at tempo heart rate. Yeah, I mean, the average pace was 164, and I even hit 181 at max heart rate. And that's insane to think about now, because a 5:25 pace for me now, if we fast forward to what I've done recently, so that was a 6 kilometer, okay, progressive long run. Let's take a look at my most recent progressive long run, which was 12th of June, so last week. And it was, not progressive long run. Let's compare it to a progressive run that's similar in distance. So it was 8 kilometers this time, which is 2 kilometers longer than the last one. And I ran 2 kilometers at warm up, followed by 1 kilometer at 5-minute pace, 2 kilometers at 4:40 pace, a 1 kilometer at 4:30 pace, and 1 kilometer at 4:20, followed by a 1 kilometer cool down. And my heart rate, average heart rate, was 144 BPM, and this is during summer as well. So it's pretty nuts to think how far you can come if you just train, be consistent, and follow a good program. I actually also did a 14-kilometer progressive long run, I think the week before that. And even then, my heart rate wasn't as high as the first time I did a progressive long run. So that's within 7 months. And don't forget, it's summer as well. So usually summer pace, including heat and humidity, means that your per kilometer pace will probably be at least 30 seconds slower per kilometer. So I'm very excited for winter season, and I hate winter. I absolutely dread the cold, so it's really exciting to see where I'm going to take it. But the point being is, I started running, I think, with 3 days a week of running, which for a lot of beginners is already a lot. But that's what it takes. You need to train more frequently. And I ended up bumping it up to 4, and then I ended up bumping it up to 5 days a week at one point. But my plantar fasciitis flared up a bit too much for 5 days a week, so I ended up dropping it back down to 4. And right now, it's a happy medium where my plantar doesn't flare up too much on 4 days a week, but I do want to bump it up to 5. And a lot of people think, well, if you're running more often, isn't it really difficult? It's like, no, it actually makes things easier because you can split up your mileage into more runs. So right now I'm actually squeezing in 40 kilometers into a 4-day-a-week running plan, which means that my long runs end up being anywhere between 14 to 18 kilometers, and then my easy runs are a bit shorter. So it'd be a lot easier if I ran 5 days a week, split out my mileage across 5 days. So on average, instead of running 10 kilometers per run, I'd be running 8 kilometers per run, which makes it a whole lot easier per session, especially in the heat. Ideally, I'd run 6 days a week. Then I can really bump up my mileage, right? But obviously, mileage takes time to build. Joints, tendons, ligaments take a lot longer than cardiovascular to build. Here's the thing, the main difference that I will have amongst other beginner runners is, number one, I've got a base from playing sports as a kid, but also martial arts really built up my Vo2 Max. I did it for 6 years, and my Vo2 Max skyrocketed when I started running. So if we take a look, a year ago, before I started running in December, my Vo2 Max was 47, believe it or not. And when I was fighting, it was roughly at, let's see, the highest it ever got to was about only 52 actually. Now I think it's also because I didn't wear my watch while I was training. But if you end up looking at my Vo2 Max now, it's hit 63.3 as of today. Yeah, 63.3, which is nuts to think about because that already technically puts me into the elite category. But like I said, the heart rate is not the issue for me. It's the legs. And that's going to be for most of y'all. You're going to find that you're not very efficient. We call it running economy. And in order to improve running economy, you've got to run more often and do more mileage, especially in zone 2. And if there's anything I can say from my experience right now, run more in zone 2. Now, a lot of people will go, that's terrible advice for beginners because a lot of them don't even have a zone 2. Like, especially in the heat, once you go out, you're gonna be easily hitting zone 3 heart rate. And yeah, I don't disagree, you probably will. So what you need to do is try, the first month or two, expect it to not be zone 2. But you should immediately try and get towards running into zone 2 and do a lot more easy running. And even if, let's say, you don't find a zone 2 for the first 6 months, that's totally fine. If anything, I should reframe that to do more easy running. And if you struggle to run easily, do a run walk. Honestly, I'm a huge fan of run walk and recommending that. So then you drive your heart rate down. You're also not pushing yourself through sessions and grindy sessions, which therefore make you not want to run. The key part of running for most people is not to medal to podium, because you're not going to do that. If you're just starting running now, you're never going to win anything, okay? So don't even think about that. All you're thinking about doing for running is to stay healthy. And in order to do that, we want to make sure that you can be consistent and disciplined. And that's why run walks are awesome. You can literally run for 300 meters, and then once you start to get tired, okay, take a breather, walk, and then once you gather your heart rate, you feel okay again, then run again. And this is the easiest way by far, in my opinion, to start running. And on top of that, do it for a time period, not for a certain amount of distance, okay? Because a lot of people start to get really anal about how far they've run. And it becomes a dick measuring contest with their friends, like, oh, how far did you run this week? It's like, no, that's not important. If you want to actually improve as a runner, think about running for time instead. Now, obviously, once you get to a higher level, then you're going to have to think about how much mileage you're getting per week, et cetera, et cetera. But if you're just starting out, run for time. So I've said this before, start by running for 20 minutes. And if you can only run for 3 minutes before you get out of breath, then walk for another 2 minutes or something, gather, and then redo that. And then over time, you're going to be able to run more for longer distances as well as for longer time periods, and that's how you're going to improve. But yeah, I just hope I can show y'all that with 7 months of consistency and discipline, you can improve significantly in running. Now, obviously, it's a little easier for me because of my background, but I wouldn't be surprised if I started from scratch. Yeah, sure, I wouldn't be as fast, but I'd probably get to a decent level pretty quickly, because all it takes is just this mindset and consistency and discipline. That's the video for today. I'm hoping to share more of my journey, and yeah, I'll probably talk more about how I'm gonna train for Hyrox. It's gonna be in about a month and a half or two, but the main goal again is to just run more and run faster, because at the end of the day, 60% of it is running, if not more, including the rock zones. So get better at running. The weights can come a little later, but anyway, I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.